Thank you, Awero. Asante sana. Nimekaribia, nashukuru. Victor, thank you. Good, you're present. I see that. Mohammed, how are you? How are you? How are you? Good evening, Abdullahi. Asante, thank you for shouting out, making a shout out. I'm looking forward to see how today goes. You guys don't like music. I really wanted to put some music for you, but it's okay. We'll do this the hardcore way. Hardcore way. I see we're already at 35. What I can request for now is actually ask all of you to just put your link or your bio or whatever within the chat box. Please, I would like to hear from you. I would also like to give a shout out to all of you. So tafadhali, please put a link or your bio, better yet, on the chat box so that I can read it out just in case. I'm looking forward to just say hello, Boyton. I hope I said that right. June, hello, good evening to you. Chris, karibu. Pia wewe. Benson, unasema weka ngoma. Special request, Booga by KD. Okay, I will ask for permissions on that one. Therefore, Asante, karibu pia. I'm looking forward to see how today goes. So I'm really excited to be with all of you here. So please, Ebu shout out to guys on WhatsApp or join Biombio. We're already at 43, so I'm really looking forward to see how many we can be before Nzambi joins us. So just shout out. In the meantime, I'm still waiting for your bios on the chat box. Nataka kuzisoma zenye naweza soma nitasoma mbio. This is the day I can do a shout out for you all. So tafadhali weka. Don't be shy. This for everyone's good. It will be good for guys to know who's here, who's not, what people do. It will be interesting to share that information. And for those who don't know me, nimeona Biombio. For those who don't know me, my name is Wahiga Kemuchuri. Been your host so far for this session, courtesy of Whitebox Entrepreneurship. And I'm really looking forward to see how it continues going. I really enjoy these peer-to-peer sessions actually because I get to really learn a lot, honestly. So I'm really looking forward to be seeing how you guys communicate, how you guys do your shout out, how you guys continue enjoying the session. So yeah, asante sana. Just a minute, let me see what people have put down. Let me see what people have put down. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Whitebox community, Whitebox community. Okay, I see a comment from Francis Kamanga. My name is Francis Kamanga Njoroge, the founder, Skynet Kamanga Innovations. Skynet Kamanga Innovations is a startup company that deals with security systems and renewable energy. Solar energy is both renewable and green-based, thus friendly to the environment, and it's also cost-effective as compared to other competitors. Okay, asante for that. Benson Kanye saying, guys, we're providing special discount only to Whitebox family. Go to www.technovalley.co.ke and book for website development at a discounted rate. Yonia Benson. Dennis, good stuff. I see watu wameanza catch up, wataki kupitwa. Dennis Kinywa, you're saying my name is Dennis Kinywa, founder at PesaTrail. PesaTrail is a financial management tool that aims to help individuals and businesses take control of their money by leveraging, okay, I've lost that. Have I lost that? Oh, good. By leveraging machine learning to provide meaningful insights to improve financial decision-making. PesaTrail also provides an easy-to-use interface for merchants to track, analyze, and protect their financial data from loss. Boyton Omundi, I can see currently an entrepreneur in cereals. I own Tamari Cereals. Okay, so let's see who else. Victor Muli, co-founder of Vicon Farm Limited, rearing dairy goats for milk and African vegetables, in brackets Managu, for better organic products. Ooh, okay, you are the healthy one. Kennedy Karaoke, hello everyone. My name is Kennedy Karaoke. I'm the founder of Thorium Organic Foods. Hey, okay. Is it Thorium? Did you get that name from Thor? Are you about to tell us Whitebox Assemble? Anyway, Thorium Organic Foods. Thorium is a startup company that contacts farmers for the production of organic foods, of which we also certify farmers as authentic organic farmers. We also sell organic inputs. Ah, good. I saw somebody got that joke. Gregory Shikutwa, founder of Elite Designs. Okay, that's all. I guess we should figure out what that is. I wish you can be clearer. Then Gregory Shikutu, no, that I finished. Oh, you continue. Elite Designs is a digital agency dealing with web and graphic design. Okay, good. Nzambi, I hear you're around. Please feel free to put your video on. I am looking forward to seeing you again. Kevin Oguta. Hello, friends. I'm Kevin Oguta, founder, Noble Targets, Integrated Enterprises, and a startup enterprise in agribusiness. Currently, we do cage fish farming in Lake Victoria and horticulture farming. So before I even continue to our facilitators, you can put your video on so that we can see you. I have already given you permission, so it's okay. I can see Jacqueline Amboko. I do have a hair and salon in Nairobi. Where in Nairobi? I would like to know, Jacqueline. Maybe people are close to you and they can make a dash to you. Marvin, hey, I'm seeing guys are catching up. Marvin Naman, co-founder of Usafi Sasa, a software company based in Kenya. I would like to know Kenya where. Shadrach Kiplagat, founder of Mets Chicken Butchery. We deal in Kenyeji chicken meat. Happy to hear that. Mohammed, fellow entrepreneurs, he says hi. Mohammed Chana, co-founder of Moyale Hekima Ventures, currently in food industry, also proud alumni of TIP, 2015. TIP, I believe this is the Tony Elemelu Entrepreneurship Program, if I'm not wrong. So he was part of the 2015. So Nzambi, without further ado, are you there? I can let you on. Hello, Nzambi, can you hear me?
Yes, hi. I'm trying to sort the light issue. Yes, much better. So let me
actually, now that I've been to your office, turn the camera to the wall. Yeah, so that it's not towards the light.
Yes. So one moment, let me orient myself and then I get back. Just give me 1 minute.
Okay, hakuna shida. While at that, I can continue with the guys who have posted what they do. Let me see who I've missed out on. Hey, watu mmechangamka sasa. Okay, let me see. Faith Karimi of Fema Errands, a startup in Eldoret that connects freelance services providers to clients all in one pool marketplace called FemaErrands.com. Everything is done in real time and people get help in their communities. Winfred Dinda, founder, Wimasoul Technologies, dealing with internet supply and CCTV installations in Kisii County. Wakere, karibu sana. Faith Kome, Fema Errands, I've already read that. I'm Duncan, founder of Pablo Production, dealing with photography, videography, graphic design, and web designs in Eldoret. Gjenge, I'm happy to hear from you guys. Gregory Shikutwa, actually, Mulisikia Kipchoge did his thing, Jana. He beat his own record. So happy he comes from LD. And I hope you guys are cheering on. Venye mulicheer on nani? Ruto. Let's go to Gregory Shikutwa. Actually, His Excellency the President Ruto. Let me clarify that. Gregory Shikutwa, founder of the Links Kenya, aimed at linking you to get house to let and Airbnb around. I wonder around where. It would be good if you clarify or make it a bit clear on your definition. Download the links ASAP on Play Store and App Store. Abdullahi Arura, hello everyone. Founder Jifar Poultry, Layers and Kenyeji, trying to fight malnutrition here in ASAL. That's arid, semi-arid region, if I'm not wrong, through offering affordable pricing and okay, and I've missed that. Affordable pricing, good. And training farmers too. Thank you, Abdullahi. Good. Without further ado, I would like to hear from Nzambi. Nzambi, you're there?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, vizuri, loud and clear. You know you're the celeb today. I am not the... We can see you, kabisa,
There's a
kabisa.
glare here.
I don't know. No, that one is not as disruptive as the previous one.
Okay, so
yeah, it's a bit better. We can see you. We can see you pretty well. So guys, I have the honor of introducing you to Nzambi Matee, hustler extraordinaire, by the way. Let me just tell you guys, Nzambi is on another level. Yani. From the first time I met her, yani, she does things crazy. Like, come on, when you hustler, this chick is hustler extraordinaire, but she's done some major moves in places I can't even tell you, like this chick is quite something. So anyway, just a quick one. Nzambi is a scientist and inventor, engineer, entrepreneur, and change maker. So if you think you have a CV, compare yours to Nzambi. She's pursued a major in physics at the Jomo Kenyatta Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, where she obtained relevant foundational training in material science that she currently applies at Gjenge Makers Limited. Before starting the company, she worked in oil industry at National Oil as a data analyst. The experience gave her a window into corporate setting and how it runs, the systems required, the data created and needed in order to make decisions. Growing up, she would disassemble the radio and other electronics in her own, in her parents' house, and also in her house, ajawambia your story, wacha atawambia tu, and try to put them back together. Something, sometimes with success and sometimes not so much. So that's also a lesson in failing and succeeding. Now she assembles and fabricates machines that are required for a company, leading Gjenge Makers quest to be leaders in alternative building products, space, spearheading new technologies that can impact the affordable housing sector, all the while providing opportunity, jobs, and creating an ecosystem for recycling waste globally. So what I also haven't said is that Gjenge and Nzambi herself has been an award winner for various UN awards, UNEP awards. I mean, you guys name an award in climate and such activities. Nzambi is somewhere there, or she has been mentioned. So Nzambi, without further ado, and ndio watu waache kudhani na wachocha, please introduce yourself, starting with what don't people know about you?
okay. Thank you so much. Just to understand the context of time, how much do I have in terms of time?
Good. In terms of time, this whole session is yours. So from generally immediately you start till exactly, let me say 8:45, but it's a continuous engagement that we do together. I'll be hosting you on the Q&A, but I'll let you speak a bit more than myself. So yeah.
So I will be speaking like in engage, because I want it to be engaging from now till.
Yes, ma'am.
So just be aware, the lighting will dim, itafika mahali ibidi nimewasha taa. So
sorry, just to clarify, in Nzambi, we are online until 7 p.m., not 8.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, I actually meant 6:45. From my watch, it's 18:45. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Sorry, my bad.
Okay. No worries.
And even before you proceed, Nzambi, I would just like to tell everybody, please remember whitebox.go.ke. I'll be telling you more about it, but it's where the government is there to help your business actually inspire, grow, and scale. But without saying much about it at the moment, let me let Nzambi continue.
So hi guys, thank you so much for the introduction. Wow, that's something. it feels a bit different when you hear someone introduce you, but I've not gotten used to that. But yes, my name is Nzambi Matee, founder of Gjenge Makers Limited. Gjenge Makers is an alternative, affordable building product manufacturing company. We were founded in 2017, but in terms of operations, we started in 2019. Just to give you a brief background of myself, and then I will say the history of the company, where we are, the steps we are heading towards, the challenges, the lessons, and the wins. That is the format in which I'm going to lay the talk. I would highly advise if we can do it in sections, just because there's a tendency of things being very monotonous when someone just speaks. So if you have a question, I'd appreciate it if you can put it in the chat. And then I don't know, Whitebox team, if you can help in the middle, just interject me. Therefore, we have a relatively engaging session. I don't know if that works.
Yes, don't worry. That's my job actually. So guys, please remember to put your questions and answer in the Q&A box, not the chat box. On the chat box, I might miss it. So just put it on the Q&A box. And then I'll just guide Nzambi to go through that as we continue. Yeah.
Okay, great. So yes, I think I will start with the history. So as you had in the bio, I come from the background of science and engineering, and that is something that has always been in my heart, and that has always been the passion. But I'm actually not an engineer by training. I'm actually a scientist by training. I did a Bachelor of Science in Physics, where I majored in material science. That's the science of materials, what makes materials how they are, and what makes the materials what they're needed for in whatever application. But in that said and done, I needed to apply that element into the normal world. So after I finished JQuat, I went to JQuat from 2011 to 2014. After I finished JQuat in 2014, I immediately got a job at National Oil, where I started doing data analysis and geophysics. So during this period of time to learn and understand the corporate world. But I actually understood that it makes sense if you rally a whole team and rally all the resources towards a goal and towards a vision. At a goal and towards rallying resources towards a vision, and then figuring out how you're going to make money. Because how you translate the value of something is by how much money you make. That's how you translate value. So I don't know if you've ever like talked to like potential investors or potential partners. They ask you, what's your traction? That's what they mean. How are you making money, and how are you going to sustain yourself as a company and as a founder? So with that said and done, in 2017, 2015, 16, 17, I went to National Oil. After 2 years, I realized that is not my passion. That's not what I want. I've always wanted to follow the steps of Wangari Maathai. That's what I've always wanted to do. But unlike her, my tool of trade was science and engineering. Her tool of trade was activism. So I wanted to do that. I wanted to do positive environmental justice, positive environment impact, but using science and engineering. With that said and done, I immediately, after I quit my job, that was in 2017, 2016, 2017, I founded Gjenge. It took me 9 months to make the first perfect brick. That is a human gestation period. During that period of time, I moved back home because I was broke as something else. So I couldn't afford rent, I couldn't afford anything. So I moved back home. And this story that Silicon Valley sells, Amazon was started in a garage, Apple was started in a garage, Gjenge was started in a farm, like hizi shamba hapo nyuma ya nyumba. That's how Gjenge was started, because I had the vision, but I didn't have the resources. You see, the story I can tell you for sure and for a fact. The first funds that I started with to make Gjenge tools was 8,649. And the reason I remember that figure is because I used to dance. So I'm a really good dancer, not to blow my own horn or anything, but I will dance in road shows, I'll dance in music videos, I'll dance in events. And that day I had danced, I was paid 10,000. I used 2,000, and then 8,000 I went and bought parts. And that's what constituted Gjenge's first production, quote unquote, facility. The lesson I learned during that period was resilience. You'll be surprised. Imagine kukaa 9 months doing the same thing over and over again and see no results. It was so painful that when I started, I had a crew, like team we founded Gjenge with, but after 3 months, they had already fell out. I was left alone. So for 6 months, nilifanya biashara Gjenge peke yangu. Maki kafika mahali, mamangu akaanza kuulizwa, yani mtoto wako aliacha kazi ya mafuta akuje kuanza kucheza na takataka ya plastic. But that was a vision I had, and that is what I knew that hiyo ndo nilikuwa nataka. So I told my mom, give me 1 year, just 1 year. If it works, well and good. If it doesn't work, I go back and beg for my job. And that was it. That's how I started. Remember all this time, hata ile sambaza ya 10 bob, ile credit, siwezi afford. Juu, chakula, nyumba, mavazi, kila kitu, namtegemea mamangu. Siwezi kuja tena nianze kumwambia, nataka fare, nataka airtime, nataka upkeep. Hapo ndo dance will come in handy. The lesson on that section is, we have a saying, we have a saying in Kikamba, unowanga nyoka na kinyoko nayo kwa mkono. What I had at hand was dance. So I used dance to fund Gjenge. That was a lesson from the beginning. Now let's move to the next phase. After 9 months, I get the first brick. Every single 2 weeks, natengeza brick moja, napelekea fundi wa mjengo. Hii unaiona aje, anaivunja, anasema hii inakaa hivi, change. So imagine for 9 months, talking to just different fundis at different sites. Wananipea feedback, and that's how I got to get the first brick. After I got the first brick, then hapo ndo kizungumkuti inaanza, because one thing you need to know in Kenya is we have different types of businesses. One, we have what you call a legacy business. A legacy business ni business kama hii ya Wahindi. Babako anaanza hardware, anakupea hardware, wewe unafungua hardware na kampuni ya kujenga, unapea mtoto wako anafungua kampuni ya kutengeneza machuma, so mnakuwa na hardware, kampuni ya kujenga na kampuni ya machuma. That is a legacy business. You pass from one generation to another. It can be within family context or outside family context, but just within a context where there is trust and understanding. The next type of business is we have what we call a lifestyle business. Now, a lifestyle business is a business ile unaanzisha ndio ujikimu we mwenyewe. You get your upkeeps and your utilities, your day-to-day runnings, you're able to fend for yourself. That's called a lifestyle business. And then we have a business, what we call a scale business. So this is a business where you start, and the idea is to scale the concept and then exit it. And this is where it is categorized in other terms as a startup. The difference between a startup and a business is a startup is built with scale in mind from the word go. A business is built either for legacy or for lifestyle. Scaling is the last thing that one relates to or builds to. So in the business that you're running, in the business that you're engaging in the business that you want to start, define what type of business are you starting. And this I would highly advise you start from the word go. Understand, are you running a legacy business, or rather, are you starting a legacy business? Are you starting a lifestyle business, or are you starting a scale business, which in other terms I can term as startup? Therefore, the dynamics of these businesses are actually different. The area of focus is different, okay? With that said and done, my point of view, I will come from a startup point of view. That's a scale business. That is the point of view that moving on my discussion, I will be addressing. Now let's go back to my storyline. Once I finished making the brick, I realized two things. Number one, in Gjenge, in Kenya, generally, we don't have what you call patient capital. When you're starting a business, you need capital. You can either get capital from friends, family. You can either get capital from commercial lenders. Those are the banks and any financial institution. You can get money from, if you had another business and you got influx of money, you can invest it from your own resources. Or you can get money from other people who are not necessarily friends or families, who are termed as investors. It is under this stage that you need to know if you're going for any of those these four people, who are you going to and what business are you running? We have businesses zenye ziko under FMCG. FMCG means fast moving goods and services. We have businesses that are under, in the FMCG, the fast moving goods and services. These are services that they are very liquid. By liquid, I mean these are businesses that are very cash based. So if you're building something from scratch, you need to define, is it a service? Is it a good you're providing? What is it you're providing? Is it a service or a good? After you define, is it a service or a good? That's when you know, out of the four fundings, sources of capital, which one do you go to? If you're running a business, for example, like within the FMCG, once again, fast moving goods and services. For example, if you're running maybe a barber shop, you're running a salon, you're running a food related kiosk, a restaurant or a kitchen or a kibanda, you're running a shop, a normal shop. These are things that you can actually buy and sell easily. So therefore, you need a lot of, you don't need a lot of capital to start. You just need to be very consistent in your supply of products and consistent with your pricing. On the other end of the spectrum, if you're producing a good, because remember, you either produce a service or a good. If you're producing a good, you need capital that is a bit more, because you need to put in structures, you need to put in systems so that you can produce this good, so that you can sell, so that you can make money. And so out of the four types of funding, once again, friends, families, commercial lenders, investors, and personal money, out of these four, you can define which one you want to produce. So going back to my story, we wanted to be a manufacturer in products. And these products are products that are alternative and sustainable, building products. Once we made the brick after 9 months, we realized the next thing we need is market. Always remember, anything you do, you have to understand what is your market. You might not have the whole idea, like this is my persona, this is my customer, this is where they are. You might not have the full idea, but you have to have a rough idea of who is your customer, where located, and how you're going to get them. Going back to my story, after 2017 building the brick, I needed customers. So what I did is I went to the people I know, starting with my own church. So I went to my church, I talked to the pastor and the head pastor and told him, because the parking area was not good, it had a maram at that point in time. So I told him, if you write me a commitment letter So I took to him the brick and I showed him the brick, how it looks. It was not the best at that time. Don't get me wrong. I think I don't have the brick at this point in time, but if I could show you, it was not a really good brick. It was not the best at that time, but it proved the concept. Once you have that MVP means minimum viable product. Once you have that MVP, and it doesn't have to be a product, it can also be a service. You've tested it with someone. You then test with a customer. In my case, I went to the church. I pitched the idea to the pastor and told him, all I need, because I knew the pastor could not give me the quote because it would be an expensive project. And remember, I don't have capacity to produce. So what I did is I told the pastor, give me a commitment letter that if I can produce, it was about 100 square meters worth of bricks, you will buy from them. And the pastor gave me a commitment letter. So I took the brick, the commitment letter, and what at that point in time I thought was a business plan. It was not the best. Once again, I was just starting. I didn't have anything. The only business plan I had downloaded online and edited to suit my needs. I took these three things and went to every commercial bank in Kenya. And every commercial bank in Kenya said no. Shadrach Kiplimo, I don't know if you want to ask a question. And Whiteboard team, I don't know if it's in the Q&A session. You can just interject me in the middle.
No worries. Q&A session is open at any point, but Shadrach, I think it's been on for long, so I wonder if he really wants to ask a question. Shadrach, do you want to ask a question? Hello, Shadrach, you have permissions to speak.
I don't have any question.
Okay, then
Okay.
please lower your hand.
Okay, so moving on.
Thank you, Nzambi, continue.
So moving on forward, after I had the commitment letter, the brick, and the business plan, or what I thought was a business plan, I went to every commercial bank in Kenya. Name it, Equity, KCB, CBA. By that time, it was CBA, it was not NCBA yet. NIC, all the banks, National Bank, and all the banks I spoke to the relationship manager, and all of them said no. Even Equity, the one I had an account with, said no, because this was, all of them said one thing, this is a high risk business. So then that moves me to the next point. How you want to know how to start in terms of the sources of funding, how to structure it. You need to understand what is the risk level that whoever brings the money from, whether it's you, whether it's someone else external, what is the risk level they're taking? In my context, being in the manufacturing industry, I needed first to have investment for machines and investment for a production facility, so that I can produce a block, so that I can sell. And so the risk was very high. For the first round, I asked for, I was looking to raise 5 million Kenya shillings. That's approximately $50,000. And no bank, of course, could give me, leave alone $50,000. No one will give me $5,000, leave alone 50. So how I did it is I went to my friends and I went to my family. But even them, they could not give me even 10,000, even slightly over 10,000, they couldn't give me. So then what I did is, remember the four sources of funding. Number one, friends and family. Number two, personal money. Number three, commercial lenders. And number four, external funding, i.e. investors. So from that, I already removed myself because I had spent all the money I could get. I had removed my family because I had exhausted all the resources. Remember, this funding I'm looking for is for capital, CapEx, which is capital expenditure. That's for machines. Commercial lenders have said no. So the only option I'm left with is external funding, i.e. investors. So then now that moves me to the next stage. What type of investors do I want? How much money do I want? and where am I going to get them? So with that said and done, that moves to the third stage, or rather the third phase of the project. I don't know if maybe you can tell me, Whitebox team, what is the population, the audience, where are they predominantly from? Can I assume Kenya and Africa?
They're all from Kenya. Yes, they're all from Kenya.
Sawa sawa. So something to note, in Kenya, we don't have, there's a statement I said, in Kenya, we don't have a lot of patient capital. By patient capital, I mean, I give you money and I give you 5 to 7 to 10 years, and then you pay me back. Because most of the patient capital goes to the traditional source of traditional investment forums. That is, i.e. land, real estate, transportation, food and logistics. And of course, in the construction/energy business. Those are the predominant businesses that a lot of Kenyan and African investors at large believe in, because those are the traditional ones. So investing in a startup is not something that one can consider an investment. I found a challenge in that. Most of the capital investment we have in Kenya, most of the external funding you get, i.e. investors, are actually what you call offshore investment. What I mean by offshore investment is money that comes from other areas other than Kenya. Just one moment, let me.
As we are waiting for Nzambi, please remember, put your questions within the Q&A panel. I can see one question at least, so that's good. We'll get into that soon. And then also remember, if you want to ask a question like ask Nzambi by speaking, you just raise your hand and then we'll also get into that. Thank you. Nzambi, you may continue. Actually, Nzambi, you should show them your material. They might think you're speaking about something that doesn't exist, if possible.
Oh, okay. One moment.
Yeah,
let me
show them a tile.
Okay, let me go.
No worries. Yeah, so guys, please remember, I can see at least most of you are commenting on the chat, so that's really good. I can see all of you. Lavender, that's a funny comment. I like it. Let me see. Yeah, James, it is really a journey of resilience. I agree. Let me see who else has a comment that I should read. Marvin, you'd like to be invited for an interview? We have both system and app that can make our cities in Nairobi clean. Aha, at Waihiga is not in Kenya. Huh? No, I am in Kenya. Or what do you mean? And then my name is spelled Waihiga, W-A-I-H-I-G-A. Then let me see. Kabugi Wawero, founder, Efficient Solutions. We do consultancy on online government services for MSMEs in Nakuru. Just like Nini, just like Whitebox. You should work with Whitebox. And NYC, you remember National Youth Council? Remember that also. Good Boy Media, that's Kahara Kinyuru. You deal in photography and videography, great. Kamal Deep from Malaika Gifts and Interiors for all your handmade gift items. Yeah, take over, Nzambi, you're back. So.
Sorry, so this is what I produce. These are cabros made out of plastic waste. There is no sand, there's no cement here. It's just pure plastic and sand. We make them in different sizes and different colors. This is one color, this is another color. This is another color. This is another color. So like, for example, this one is when you put in the zebra crossing. This is what you use for zebra crossing. And then you can get lighter than this, you can get darker than this. And these ones are thicker. Like this one, for example, these particular blocks, these ones are going to Coca-Cola because they're thicker than this one. This one is for households. This one is for factories. And you can get even bigger than this, that is almost this size, the two of them. So yes, I think we now get the context. So let's go back to the funding. So patient capital, for especially for people who are looking for very high capital expenditure, and this is people in the infrastructure business, whether you're targeting something in energy, you're targeting something in agribusiness, you're targeting a business in manufacturing. These are businesses that are very capital intensive. What that means is you need a lot of money fast, and then you can run and execute the project. Whereas projects within the FMCG, you don't need as much money, but then you need a lot of money to sell, you need a lot of money to market, okay? So how I went about that is I was fortunate enough to go to school. It's called Watson. This is in my shirt, Watson Institute. This is an incubator located in the US, in Colorado, where I just saw the application online. I applied, and in 2018, I went to the US. So this was a period of 1 year. I stayed in US, and something I learned, especially about business in the US, was two things. Number one, we need to understand that business is directed and driven by people. Everything you do in life, in anything, whatever angle you're looking for, business is directed and driven by people. The second thing we need to learn is you don't necessarily need a lot of money to start a business. But in the other end of the spectrum, you need some money to start a business. So with those two lessons, I learned one thing that I think it's a skill. And this is a skill that all entrepreneurs, whatever business you're running, you need to do, is you need to learn how to sell. The best funding you can ever get in a business is actually from sales. Sales is the best source of funding you can get, especially when the business is young, because you're able to justify value for it, vis-a-vis going to get external funding so that you can start the business and then run it. The other thing is, especially if you are within the capital intensive sectors, the ones I mentioned before, you need to give yourself time. And that is what I was saying in the beginning. We need capital, we need patient capital, we need patient capital, and we need patient entrepreneurs. Right now we have, there was a friend I had say, we have very microwave entrepreneurs, people who want to start a business today, kesho imepik, kesho kutwa wameomoka, the other day wamekuwa millionaires. After 1 month, they are being showcased in Forbes. Honestly speaking, it doesn't work like that. If I told you it works like that, I will be lying. It doesn't work like that. In Gjenge, just to give you a scope, it took us about 4 years. 4 years to sell our first brick. 4 years to sell our first brick. Remember, it took me 9 months to make the first brick. And then about 3 years later, that's when I was able to sell the first one. And actually sell it at a loss, just to prove the concept. And so that is where patience, a lot of patience comes in. The lesson I learned in this stage in Gjenge was you need to know and you need to understand finance. Other than sales, as an entrepreneur, you need to understand finance. You don't need to be a financial expert. No, don't get me wrong, but you need to understand finance. Whether you're running a small business like a kiosk, whether you want to run a big business like Coca-Cola, you need to understand finance, because money is the lifeline of a business. You need to know how the cash flow is flowing, how the cash is coming, and how the cash is going out. So moving on to the next phase, and that was now the execution phase of Gjenge. Now that was from 2019 Sorry for that. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Nzambi, but you disappeared again. Hello, Nzambi.
I'm saying I cannot see the video. I don't have the permission. Give me the rights to disable.
Okay, right now, let me see.
Can you see me now?
Okay, but you may continue while at it. Let me check.
Okay. Sawa. While you continue. So, with that said and done, I will move to the next phase of operations, and that was in 2019. By that, what I mean is, remember, when I started Gjenge, I split it in phases. The first phase, that was in 2017 to 2018 December, that was an R&D phase, that's research and development. So I took 2 years, that was the whole of 2017, the whole of 2018. 2017 was to build the product. 2018 was to understand finance, educate myself, and fundraise. 2019 was when I started operations. Because 2017, 2018, I was just doing tests. I was doing basic tinkering with the product and selling to people, not selling, but actually giving people the blocks for free, just for them to give me feedback. Let's be practical. You cannot stay 2 years without earning a living. You need to know how you're going to finance yourself, how you're going to finance your upkeep. I was fortunate enough for the first year in 2017 to have my family upkeep needs. For the next year in 2018, I fundraised to have money for starting the business, but also having my own upkeep within the budget. This is something I've realized with a lot of startups in Kenya. You don't count yourself as an expenditure when you're fundraising. It is fine and it is okay to write yourself upkeep money for 1 year, X amount. Because if you don't, how are you going to survive? You're going to distribute your attention to various things, and that's how you never start a project. Moving forward now, the third phase was now the execution phase. Now this was after the third year. That was in 2017, 2018, 2019. Now 2019, that's when I came back to Kenya. With the funding I got, I started Gjenge. I got a small room. It was actually something similar to a bed sitter in Kenya, just in industrial area, as a go down. It was like the store behind a go down. That's what I leased. It was about 30,000 shillings a month, and I started, me, myself, and I, just alone. Let me push you back on fundraising. When you're fundraising, especially from external investors, you need to understand at what stage you're fundraising for and what money you're looking for. We have different levels of fundraising and different levels of funding that you need. The first funding is what we call seed funding. The essence of this funding is to, 1, get the proof of concept, 2, get the proof of product, and now one is product market fit and problem solution fit. That is the money you use for seed round. The next round is either Series A. Series A is where now you're scaling, you've understood the product, you've understood the market, you've created a niche market, and now you need the money to expand the market, expand capacity, expand the reach. That's what Series A is for. And then you continue Series B, all the way until where you feel fit. Other companies exit at what you call IPOs. This is where your company goes public. And other companies remain private entities. And this is where you continue Series B, E, D, up to Z if you want. So remember the statement I asked. When you're starting, I said rather, when you're starting a business, understand what type of a business are you starting. Are you starting a lifestyle business? Are you starting a legacy business? Are you starting a scale-up business? Simply because you're starting a lifestyle business doesn't mean it's bad. It's just the dynamics are different from a legacy business and from a startup. So remember, everything I'm speaking from my experience, and I'm speaking from a startup point of view. It might be different if you're running entities like barbershops, or you're running entities like FMCGs. But remember, that doesn't mean they can't scale. They can scale. And so if they can scale, then this applies to you, because scaling, any business can scale. You just have to understand the market. You have to understand the formula and replicate it. That's all scaling means. So
Sorry, Nzambi. Sorry, just a minute. Let me make an announcement. Guys, please fill in the halftime session poll. Yeah, I can see your comments are, are quite something. Today, Naona guys have been humble. No questions. Please feel free to do your Q&A. Zambi is here for your Q&A. But again, please remember to fill in the halftime session poll. I'm looking forward to that. Tafadhali, let's do that, even as Zambi continues. So, thank you, Zambi. Sorry for that.
Thanks for that. So just for the purpose of time, I think I have about maybe 20 minutes, so I'll just speed it up a bit. So when you're fundraising for the seed funding, there's a tool, a very important tool that is used. It's called convertible note that applies. And convertible note, what that means is you are getting money now in exchange for equity. But remember, you still don't have a valuation. So the equity you're giving is a promise for equity for the future to come. An average convertible note is a duration of about 3 to 5 years. So you tell someone, give me X amount of money, I start this business, and in 3 years' time, this money of yours converts to X percentage in the company. If not, I give you this money back with interest. And when it comes to convertible note, we have two different convertible notes. We have a standard convertible note, and we have a safe convertible note. A safe convertible note is an acronym, SAFE, S-A-F-E. Simple agreement for future equity, SAFE. So this is what I'm saying. I don't know if you can read. Yes, SAFE, SAFE, simple agreement for future equity. This is a convertible note. This is a tool that is used where now the dynamic is a bit different. You ask someone for X amount of money, you promise them a conversion of an equity. But then to sweeten the deal, because remember, this is someone who's giving you money when you have nothing in place. What you do is you give them a promise and say, by that time, I will give you the equity, but I'll give you a discount of a certain percentage. An average percentage is anything 20 to maybe 30% if it's a very high risk business, like for example, in the pharmaceutical industries. The other convertible note is, other than SAFE, is the normal convertible note. That one is you give me money. In 3 years' time, I give you equity, or I pay you back your money with a simple interest. Remember, not compound interest, simple interest in 3 years' time. So you give me maybe 10,000, I give you 10,000 with 5%, with maybe 10% on top for the next 3 years. 10% on simple interest rates, not compounding rates. SAFE is you give me money, I give you equity. If this doesn't work, I don't give you back your money. I just give you equity. If we liquidate the company, you get the money equivalent from your shares. The reason why SAFE came, and SAFE came from Y Combinator, is it is very lenient for founders, especially when they're just working to prove their concept. And that is the tool I used. Now, the next stage after that is the convertible note needs to convert. And how it converts is you do what you call a qualified financing. A qualified financing is where you come with a financial institution, you do a valuation, you settle on a valuation. Now you've raised money, X amount of money, pegged against that valuation. So the money you got earlier converts with this interest rate. So for example, if I raised 10,000 and I give them 10%, and I am raising 100,000, then these people get 10% of the company when I raise the 100,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to only raise 90,000 so that I can add the 90,000 plus the 10,000 so that I can get 100,000. It sounds a bit technical, but I can promise you it's just pure numbers, pure calculation, nothing extraordinary. Now, coming back to Gjenge context, in 2019, the first safe agreement we raised was in 2018. And the first safe we raised was 100,000 US dollars. That's about 10 million Kenya shillings. Now, with this money, we spent the whole money in 2019 just building machines. Now, in 2020, when we were supposed to launch the product in the market, COVID came and we couldn't. So how we survived in 2020 was the reserves from the money we had raised in 2019. Now, by the end of 2020, and that's why I told you it took me 4 years to sell the first brick. In 2020, around August, that's when we did our first sale. Now, fast forward, when you're doing sales, you need to understand what is your market segment. We have 3 different market segments. We have the B2C, that's business to consumer. So these are the people who use. So for example, if I'm a barber shop, I am not your consumer because you can see I have dreadlocks. So you will not be targeting me. You'll be targeting someone who's shaved. If you're a saloonist, target the people who style. If you're making dreadlocks, then I'm your target client, but you need to know who's your target customer. You might not have the full idea, but you need to have a direction. Like I am targeting, like I've started a salon, it's targeted towards people with dreadlocks. So I'm going to target anyone with rastas. So if I see anyone on the road with dreadlocks, I give them my information. That's how you target. The next category is B2B, that's business to business. So these are your product you're providing is targeted towards a business. So for example, if you're starting a hardware, you can either sell the goods and the services to consumers directly, or you can sell the goods and services to a construction company or to someone who builds businesses, like a contractor who builds buildings. So that's business to business. The third one is B2G, that's business to government. Right now in Kenya, you know, we have the national government and we have the county governments. So you need to define what is the value proposition. And the value proposition for B2C is not the value proposition for B2B. It's not the value proposition for B2G. You need to understand what's the value proposition. And I would, ideally speaking, the lesson I've learned, make your value proposition very simple. Our value proposition for Gjenge towards B2C is we are stronger, we are cheaper. For B2B, we're stronger, we are cheaper, we are lighter. For B2G, we are stronger, we are cheaper, we are lighter, and environmentally friendly. And then work backwards. So if you understand your value proposition, then you know who you're targeting your clients to. Now, moving on now to 2021, I'll move to the next stage in Gjenge, which is where we are currently at. What I was telling you before was the history. Now, let's see where we are currently right now. Remember, as a founder, you cannot do everything alone. You need a team. And one lesson I have learned, if there's anything I have learned for the past 3 years, is it is a blessing to learn how to build a team. Right when we started, I started alone like this. In 2019, by June, we were 2. In 2019, by November, we were 3. In 2019, by December, we were 4. And we have kept increasing all the way from 26 full-time to 113 part-time. When you're a founder, it is your duty to build a business culture. It is your duty to pick the right minds according to your business. And it is your duty to instill the systems and to oversee that. That is your role. And you need to learn how to reiterate that, to keep doing that on a continuous basis. There's this theory you need to do something for 10,000 hours. That theory is right. Remember what I told you in the beginning. You need to understand two things as a founder. One, learn how to know people and like deal and interact with people. And two, learn how to sell, which selling is still interacting with people. So if you learn people skills, you save yourself a lot. Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, there's people skills for both groups of people. Find what works for you and go do that. I am an extrovert. I like talking to people. Talking to strangers, that's what gives me joy. So I go outside and I just talk to random strangers. In the beginning, I was not even selling. I'll just say hi to a random stranger and ask them, if you had one day in life, what would you do? If you're told this is your last day in life, what would you do different? If you had one day to do anything, everything catered for, what would you do? And you'll be surprised the thought process of human being. And that's what sparked discussion. And that is what I use to learn people. So coming back to Gjenge, learn how to build a team. And that's what I was doing in 2020, 2021, learning how to build a team. Now, after you've built a team, one, you've built a product. As a first-time founder, we tend to focus more on the product. As a second-time founder, we tend to focus more on the distribution channel. As a third-time founder and a veteran founder, you learn the art of focusing into value stream. The older you get within the entrepreneurship curve, the more you understand the three dynamics, whether you need to understand the product, you need to understand the distribution, the value chain, the distribution or the value chain. So in Gjenge, we realized we are not just selling bricks. We are actually not selling bricks. We are selling sustainability to one group. We are selling aesthetics to another group. And we are selling cost saving to another group. So the conversations we say to B2C, who we sell aesthetics to, are not the conversations we say to B2B, who we're selling price to. It's not the conversation we sell to B2G, who is the sustainability group. The fourth thing I have learned is you need to understand the question of how are you making money? Because how you're making money is how well you answer that question is how well you answer the question, how sustainable is your business? That's just a fancy way of saying it. How do you make money? So, and this applies not just to startup, but also to businesses, whether legacy business or the lifestyle business. You need to understand how you're making money. In Gjenge, our first source of revenue was selling the pavers. Then we realized, once we sell the pavers, we need to install to customers. Some customers have fundis, some customers don't have fundis. So how can we bring the third revenue stream? We can bring third revenue stream from installation, second revenue stream from installation. But then we realized plastic is everywhere, and the companies that produce the plastic, they are mandated by organizations like NEMA, the National Environmental Authority, to prove how they're taking the plastics back from the environment. And because that is not the mandate of these companies, we realized, why not be a bridge to these companies, collect the plastic waste from them and actually charge them for that. And that is our third value stream. This is targeted towards companies that produce plastic waste. And remember, you're constantly adding these figures. The more revenue stream you have, the more sustainable you have. So if you're running a barber shop, one is to cut people's hair. 2, are you doing facial massages? 3, are you doing manicure, pedicure? 4, can you diversify and have a female section and a male section? It doesn't necessarily have to be like split, but by female section, I mean people who plait and people who shave. And then 4, you're like, Can I give people wellness understanding? For example, I've gone to, or rather I have seen barbershops that when you sit down, after they've done the hair, they've done the facial, they do some massages, they do some footworks. That's another revenue stream. So you need to have many revenue streams. If you're selling mboga, today you're selling vegetables, tomorrow you need to add fruits. The other day, can you add cereals? Okay, fine. Can I increase the quantity of cereals? If the vegetables are not doing well, can I stop selling vegetables and focus on cereals? If the cereals are doing well, can I diversify from not beans and maize, but to ndengu and to pojo and all that stuff? Remember, you need to understand how many revenue streams you have. Remember the point I said, you need to have basic understanding of finance. If you're running a business, you need to have basic understanding of finance. You don't need to be a guru, but you need to understand the basic finances. And then you need to be your number one hype man. There are companies, there are businesses that start and you're outsourcing sales and marketing. Sales and marketing is the lifeline of a business. Don't outsource that. Using sales and marketing, we have different channels of communication. Right now, in this day and era, and with this audience of youths, we have social media, we have internet. This is a tool that, one, at this point in time is very cheap compared to commercial streams, that's the TVs and the radios, and it's untapped. Look at it this way. Internet is where TV was when newspaper and radio was on the peak. So you need to utilize this stream. Us as Gjenge, 90% of our sales and marketing, we do it in online streams, whether it's social media, whether it's posts from our Google posts, whether it's communication and talking to anyone else. That is what we do. And with that said and done, I will start wrapping up this discussion with where we are going to. Remember, I started with where we were, where we are, and where we are going to. As Gjenge, we are fortunate enough right now to say we have been able to break even. Break even is where the money you generated and the money you've used, the money you've brought on board as revenue, and the money you've used as expenditure has mashed. So therefore, your balance sheet is zero or slightly over zero. Now we are moving to the next stage of profitability. Now, moving from profitability, we need to scale. Scaling means moving to Kenya, around different parts of Kenya and different parts of Africa to start with. That's where you need to understand and develop what you call a business model. Right now, people are told the other way around. Start a business, then understand the business model, and then test the product in the market, and then roll out. I can tell you for a fact, you will not figure out a business model anytime soon. Facebook took 7 years just to figure out that their business model was actually advertisements and revenues and streams from third-party people who are following the crowd that they have. So don't struggle in building a really perfect business model. Understand your market, test your market, and I have a theory: fail fast and fail cheaply. So with that said and done, now we're in the stage where we are now developing our business model, and a business model is a formula of how to generate revenue and to make profits. And it's this formula that you replicate to other parts of the world, hence being a scale up where we are currently. And that's where we are going to. And so my hope and prayer to everyone who's listening to me, if you take nothing else in Gjenge, you take 5 things. Number 1, you don't have to know everything when you're starting a business. Understand the basics and test. Number 2, understand and learn the skill of selling and learn the skill of people skills. Number 3, you don't need funding, but you also need money to start with. So understand what type of funding you need and where to get it. Number 4, don't struggle in developing the business model in the beginning. Launch the product, start the business, and you will develop the business model as you continue. Remember, a business model is a formula of how to generate revenue. And number 5, don't be afraid to fail. Africa, we have this thinking of when someone fails, there's shame and there's disappointment. No. When you fail fast and you fail cheaply. So learn the art of testing something. So if I have a kibanda and I want to test cereals, I'll not go and buy a whole 90 bag of maize. I will start with 20 kilos. If people are buying, tomorrow I buy 50 kilos, and so on and so forth. And if nothing else, those are the 5 things I hope you'll take away. And thank you so much for giving me the time. I know I've spoken a lot, but I hope it has shared a lesson or two. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. Whitebox team, back to you.
Thank you, Nzambi. Don't even go, because everybody will be, hey, Leo, it's been one of those days. Thank you so much for your feedback, for the things that you've talked about. I would like to go to the Q&A section. Jack, I think that's Jack Mbogo at gmail.com says, why is it Kenya startups are at the helm with whites? That's a tricky question, but the reality is there. It is high time we put, let me finish. It is high time we put some black faces in this space. It does not look good to me when we are dominated this way, even at home. Kindly do something about it where we can tap into the low-hanging fruits, even if it is training. We retool and reskill in this bottom-up economy. I think, Nzambi, I am very sure you have something to say about the funding of color. So maybe you can mention something before I go to the next.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I have a point of view. As I started in the beginning, I started with a statement saying, in Kenya, we don't have patient capital. Or rather, patient capital is not easily in the floating within the markets. Therefore, the patient capital that we get what you call offshore funding. Offshore funding comes from mostly US, Europe, and Asia. And with that said and done, when the funding comes to this country, the people of first contact are usually people of that race or that nationality. So for example, if the funding is coming from the US, it will first arrive here in America to the Americans living in Kenya. And it's from these Americans then that they distribute to others, whether it's an acceleration program, whether it's a fund, or it's the startup themselves fundraising. And that is why you see startups in Kenya, the ones who have foreigners within their founders groups are the ones who are not only able to raise money, but raise very high ticket size monies. And that's a reality I understood, because first of all, I am a solo founder, meaning I don't have a co-founder. Number 2, I am a Kenyan founder. And I was both fortunate and unfortunate enough to go to an investor and ask him for money. And he told me he cannot give me money because I am not white. And that is the day I understood this dynamic. And so how I'm going about it is I am targeting every energy I have towards sales. Sales is the best form of funding, because if you have sales, then you go and speak to the local funders, whether foreign or local. It is an easy negotiation because you've proved that the concept works. But if you don't go with sales and you're going to ask for money, it kind of gives a hard time, especially for Black founder. My hope and prayer is with the increase in tickets, with the increase in different funders within different spaces, and with both the gender lens and the race lens investment that has started to come, we will see some trickle down to people who look like me. But until then, that doesn't mean we cannot do anything. Let us focus on building a business that can sell our products or services. Then you have a high negotiation tool. Yes.
Great, thank you. A question from Benson Kanyi. Hey Nzambi, a question related to your products. I'm in construction industry. I would like to know the value proposition of the plastic bricks versus the normal concrete bricks that we normally use, sorry.
So our value proposition is 3. We are stronger, we are cheaper, we are lighter, and the source of it is we are eco-friendly. Stronger, we are about 2 to 7 times stronger than normal concrete. Therefore, if we transport to you the bricks that you would have used for heavy duty for concrete, for us use light duty. We are lighter, we are about half the weight of normal concrete. Therefore, transportation is cheaper. And we are cheaper, we're stronger, lighter, and cheaper. We are cheaper, we're about 15% cheaper than normal concrete. And all that while being environmentally friendly. So if you're in construction business and you want a product that is alternative, sustainable, and affordable, you call us. We'll give you a really good quote.
Great. I see a hand lifted by Fatuma Ali. Do you want to speak? I've allowed you to speak. Fatuma Ali, you may speak.
Hello.
Hey, we can hear you. Continue.
Hi, Nzambi. I'm Fatuma, and I am a petroleum and natural gas engineer by profession. I had seen a YouTube video about your bricks, and I've been thinking of one thing. Like, don't you think that you'll be increasing microplastics in the environment because of the heat? That, let's say, because I saw when you're making the pavement, so when the cars, there's the thermal abrasion and then there's microplastics released in the air, which is very harmful to the bodies. Have you done something about that area, or what do you think you're planning to do?
Okay, thanks so much, Fatuma, for your feedback. And yes, that is the one thing that gives me sleepless nights. We are in constant research and development to understand what is the impact, both short-term and long-term, for our business and our product in the market. But until then, what we are trying on, or rather the science we are working with is, I don't know if you remember your basic physics, impurities increase melting point and they lower the boiling point. Now in our brick, it's a mixture of plastic and sand. Sand is, the element is called silica. And plastic, within the packaging industry, we use 4 categories of plastic. So therefore, when you add silica, sand, to plastic, the sand acts as an impurity to plastic. So what this does is it increases the melting point of the plastic from an average of 100 to 125 degrees centigrade to anything about 400 to 450 degrees centigrade. Now, in this context, the sand is the bulk of the brick. Remember, the plastic is just a binder. It is nothing else, just a binder. It binds the aggregate. In this case, the aggregate is the sand. Now, with that said and done, when you have abrasion, the most element of it that is experienced, the abrasion, is the sand. That's what bears the most weight. But that doesn't mean the plastic is not released. So once I get concrete feedback, I think, stay tuned. I will give you both scientific, ecological, and moral feedback on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Nzambi. Like, that has really been a relief, because I was like, this is a good motive, but I was concerned about that. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that question.
Thank you, Fatuma. Also for me, I wanted to know about that question. Look, quite good. From Teofila Sofula, good evening all. Ms. Nzambi, do you know any organization that supports grants to youths? Please share to me. Teofilas, I think we already did that, but maybe Nzambi, you have any other you can share quickly.
Okay, so it depends on what grants you want and what project you want. But my basic go-to sites: number 1, youthsopportunity.org. Number 2, opportunities for Africans. Number 2, opportunities for youths. And number 4, sorry, is there's one for environment. I've forgotten it. So what I do, or rather what I used to do in the beginning, I would scour these pages and these sites. I'm sure there are many more. I'll scour these sites on a daily basis and see what opportunities I can apply for. And remember, don't feel bad when you don't get these opportunities. For me to get the United Nations award, I applied the first time in 2017, I didn't get. I applied again in 2019, I got for the 2020, and that's when I got. For every maybe 10 applications, maybe 1 will be yes. And maybe that's not the one for funding. But the idea is, understand what ticket size you want, and then have what you call, have a skin in the game. So already do something with the little you have and then apply for grant. But unfortunately, let me just tell you, grants is also another thing that doesn't go to people who need it. So you need to learn the art of applications. Learn the art of telling stories in written form before you're visible enough to tell a story in verbal form. Thanks.
Great, last question. And I'm saying last because if you didn't put your question in the Q&A panel, then I can't read it. Just note that, because I've been repeating that. An anonymous person is asking, how does one approach hiring a team? Well, I think you had answered that, but they're asking again. Maybe they want something clearer. What do you look at? Which resource should you hire first? Is it sales, accounts, accountant, finance, fundraising, etc.? What if you don't have enough money to pay them? Does it mean I'm gonna do all the work as a founder until I get enough resource? Yeah.
Okay, so for the type of people you need, I will not say take this or take that. See the ones which are core in your business. For example, if you're running a kitchen, if you can cook and you're having a lot of meals, like a lot of orders, you don't need an accountant, you need another chef. If you're running a business, like for example, for us in Gjenge, we're in the production business. So I didn't rush to do sales first. I went to someone who can help me produce, because if I can produce, then I can sell, because I could sell. Remember, as a founder, you need to know how to sell. If you cannot sell the product, sell the vision to someone who can sell the product for you. But learn, the first one is sales, the second one is the service or the good itself, the provider, and then the fourth one, only then do you bring on board. The financial team comes on board like second or third tier. When you're already generating revenue, you are kind of having problems structuring the financial team. But if you need to raise money, a lot of money upfront, then the financial team is the first core team. In terms of people you hire, for me, I have a theory. I choose character over skill. So you might be, here I am having two people. One is very skillful, but is of a character that I cannot deal with. But here is someone who's of a character I can deal with. We can collaborate and co-work, but they are not as skilled as this one. I will pick the character. Because remember, you can teach character, you can teach skill, but you cannot teach character. Thank you.
Brilliant. As we are wrapping up with 5 minutes to go, hi Nzambi. Oh, first let's start with Francis Kamanga. Kindly give us your number and contact details. You can put that in the chat, Nzambi, if possible, if you don't mind. And also where they can come see your stuff, because I really love your factory. It's ni vitu kwa ground kabisa. I love it, I must admit. And then kindly, as Anonymous is saying, hi Nzambi, are you open to mentoring upcoming entrepreneurs? And if so, how can you be reached? I think that's now what you can put there. And then after that, Nzambi, maybe you can give us a last word and then we can close.
Okay. So I have put the company number on WhatsApp. If you need to schedule any site or any communications, that is the ideal number. I'll also give another number, 0768 188 934. I've put both numbers. If you have any questions or any, I've put them on the chat. So if you have any questions or any concerns or any inquiries for Gjenge, those are the two numbers to get. And I'm not telling you zile numbers kama za serikali unapiga unasikia tu. No, these are actually numbers that we have people to do that. I am in terms of mentoring. Yes, I am looking for people who want to be mentored. Don't get me wrong, the dynamic of mentor-mentee has to be the one that is symbiotic. Therefore, I learn from you and you learn from me. Remember, what I am saying is not recast on stones. It might be right, it might be wrong. All I'm saying is just from my own experience. So yes, if you're looking for mentorship, feel free in that number, just text on WhatsApp, or when you're calling or when you're texting normal text, just inform the team that yes, I'm looking for mentorship. Because right now we are looking to structure something that can be done online on this nature, on like a weekly or a bi-weekly basis. Because I get the feeling I have gone through a lot that I don't think it is necessary for someone to go through it again, whereas I can just tell, because I am fortunate enough to be beneficiary of mentorship. I have a financial mentor, I have a business mentor, and I have a sales mentor. And I'm constantly looking for other mentors. So guys, if you feel I have a structure that I can work with, I might not be necessarily be ready for one-on-one because sometimes I tend to be overwhelmed with work, but I want to build a structure where I can share my knowledge and let everyone learn. So therefore you don't have to learn from your own mistakes, you can learn from mine. So yes, call that number, test for that information, and just say mentorship, we'll create a plan for that. Thanks.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Nzambi. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys. Please remember to continue doing what we do best. Go to whitebox.go.ke, where government supports, nurtures, and nurtures your idea, innovation, product, or solution. So remember, as usual, to register. Once you register, Nzambi, even you can register, by the way. How it works is you tell them who you are, they evaluate your business, then they help you develop and growth, scale, and transform. Also remember that they have the Huduma Whitebox services, which is the space now because of these offers, facilities, technical assistance, financial support, access to markets, linkages to investors, incubation and acceleration. Please also remember that when it comes to incubation and acceleration, they are very keen to support organizations that are utilizing IT as a core component of the business. So please make sure your business has a core component of IT. And without further ado, that leaves us with 2 minutes. Let me put up the ending poll. Everybody, you can contribute to the ending poll, tafadhali, launching it right now. Thank you very much, guys. Please remember whitebox.go.ke. I'm even putting the link again in the chat box. Please remember to put that. Yeah, so let's do the poll, guys. Let's do the poll. I have 0 out of 92. That's 0%. So let's fill it up. Tafadhali, let's fill up the poll. Nzambi, it's a great pleasure to have you here. Once again, I think I've interviewed you for several times. So really happy to have done this again. And thankful for the moment. Thank you for the brilliance. Thank you for the heavy, vitu tu kwa ground. That's all I can say. Entrepreneurship journey that you've shared with us, and thank you for being willing and able to share with us. So yeah, without further ado, guys, let's fill up the poll and then I can close this. Asanteni sana. I've also put my contacts on the chat box. For those who keep contacting me, thank you very much. And for those who we've been communicating, thank you for following up. Thank you for following up. Thank you. The link to the WhatsApp chat is on the chat box. You can check it out. For those who haven't joined the chat box, feel free. Nzambi, you can also feel free to join the chat box so that in case the Whitebox chat box, the Whitebox WhatsApp group, so that in case guys have a question, they can still follow up with you within the group as other peer-to-peer entrepreneurs did. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for listening to me. Hope I've passed a wisdom or two. If I've not, hope I've entertained. If I'm not entertained, hope it was worth it. But the moral of the story is, I wish you all the best in your entrepreneurship journey. It's a very lonely journey, I can tell you for a fact, but it's a worthwhile journey. And if you start it, remember the ups and downs. That one guarantee will be there. And so you have, if there's anything I've learned that entrepreneurship has taught me, is I've known more about who Nzambi was. I never knew I could do this. I never knew what I could. I never knew my extremes until I started the business. So remember, it's a self-awareness journey as much as it is value generating journey. So don't be afraid. And remember, if you need to cry when things go south, cry. If you need to celebrate your wins, celebrate. But needless to say, always keep moving. Not a small with a big. So thanks so much. I appreciate your time and have a good evening and God bless.
Thank you, Nzambi, for that. Guys, let's finish up. I have 58 out of 81 participants in the poll. That's 71%. Let's fill up so that I can close. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, great, guys. Have a good night. God bless you. Sana, have a good evening. Appreciate. Time is up. The recording will come to you. Don't worry. Bye, Kwaherini. God bless. I'll leave you a few minutes to tell each other bye. Thank you.